of hysteria, alone in America, and oh, it's alright. She's saying she's paralyzed, alone in a paradise, and I wanna find a love that lives within me, a slip that's from the 60s. Last night she said she missed me, Virginia Slim, teach me to swim. She did it all by herself, she didn't need any help. She did it all by herself, she didn't need any help. She did it all by herself, she didn't need any help. It is what it is, heaven forbid, 'cause I don't mind. 'Cause tonight it's the sounds of hysteria, alone in America, and oh, it's alright. She's saying she's paralyzed, alone in a paradise, and oh, so right. I know it's a waste of time to call you my Valentine, but oh, it's divine, divine intervention if I don't even mention it. I won't even mention it. Wake up, were you born and raised? Hello, hello, with the southern grace. Hello, hello, we can have a way forever, all together now. Tonight, tonight, when you're all done up and idolized, and they fall in love, I close my eyes. We can have a way forever, all together now. Tonight, tonight, it's in your eyes. The stars are trying, it's red, blue, and gray forever, all together now. 'Cause tonight it's the ground where they bury you, alone in America, and oh, it's alright. She's saying she's paralyzed, alone in America. Oh, alone in America. My God, she's alone in America, completely alone in America. She did it all by herself, she didn't need any help. She did it all by herself, she didn't need any help. She did it all by herself, she didn't need any help. Alone in America.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Ladies and gentlemen, our guest today emerges from the heart of Canada. Our rock star has been carving his way into the musical history, nestled amidst titans like Foo Fighters and Death Cab for Cutie. With a relentless onslaught of chart-topping hits, including anthems like Fever Pitch, Dancing with the Moonlight, and Alone in America, all from their latest album, I Am Not Myself. The album's second single, Dancing with the Moonlight, exploded onto the scene, debuting at #1 on the Canadian Breaking Alt chart and soaring into the top 15 at Canadian Alt Rock Radio. Now, not to be outdone by the album's first single, Fever Pitch, which blazed its own trail, cracking top 6. These singles not only propelled the band to new heights, but also graced the covers of a hard-hitting playlist such as Spotify's Ready to Rock, Your New Alternative, and a myriad of others including rock favorites, Rock Me Up, It's Alt Good, and Your Alternative. Now, their album, I Am Not Myself, soared to number 17 at Earshot, which is national top 50. And just like a preset, they're just warming up and audiences want more. But this album isn't just about melodies, it's a call for change. I Am Not Myself transcends mere music. It's a battle cry for a generation, a sonic juggernaut blazing a trail for mental health awareness. With over 24 million thunderous streams, a growing 1 million views on YouTube, and a legion of 60,000 TikTokers, not only are they renowned for their magnetic stage presence, but also their electrifying performances. Now, frontman Charlie Kerr has graced esteemed productions like Jan and Supernatural. They've shared stages with icons like Billy Talent, Frank Iero, The Beaches, July Talk, USS, and Dia Rouge. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming legendary rock star in the making, Charlie Kerr, from the unstoppable juggernaut known only as Hotel Mira. Charlie, thank you so much for your time and welcome to the show.
Wow, thank you so much. It's really flattering.
I want to dive into this with you.
Let's do it.
Mira has seen topping success with Dancing with the Moonlight and Fever Pitch. Can you share with us the story behind these songs?
Yeah, Fever Pitch came about in this pretty organic way. It was during lockdown, and I was writing up a storm for whatever reason. I was writing. I think I ended up writing 60 songs in between perfectionism and the I'm Not Myself record. It was really into playing these originals that I was working on on Instagram Live. This was before I had TikTok, and I would live stream, and I'd sort of show people the songs I was working on. And Fever Pitch was sort of this half-formed idea that I was playing on these live streams, and when something clicked, I was like, and I think this is special, and it just had that sort of um David Bowie Talking Heads quality to the chorus, where it was this like rambly thing, almost like I said, like almost like a Talking Heads song or a Bowie song, and I'd never written anything sort of that reminded me of that. And then the sort of instrumental of it, I was like, that's really, really catchy. I think that this song has legs. And then I brought it to the band, and the timing worked out where um, even though we were still in lockdown, we were able to um, meet up and work on the song. So that was sort of a saving grace too for um, my loneliness and confusion and purposelessness, and sort of for lack of a better word, sort of like impotence that I felt during lockdown, you know. All of a sudden I was getting to work on music again. So that's sort of where Fever Pitch came from. And then lyrically, I think I just wanted to make something that sort of was this sort of like ceremonial fresh start. You know, perfectionism is this really romantic, dark poet sort of character that emerged, and is very vulnerable and honest and dramatic, and people really got a kick out of that perfectionism record, and it obviously, you know, came from the heart for me. um but Fever Pitch almost acted as this way to sort of see all that from another angle, and sort of make fun of it, or um acknowledge that sometimes when people are sort of being praised for um their darkness or their cynicism or their honesty or whatever, it can be at the expense of others. So I think subconsciously wanted this song that maybe put to rest the idea that I wanted to be, I don't know, praised.
So when
Yeah.
you're talking about these writing your songs and these opportunities about, you know, identity exploration, especially during lockdown when everyone kind of lost a little bit of themselves,
Mhm.
when you discover and when you go down that path of identity exploration, you know, we embrace vulnerabilities. So when we look at an age of detachment, how do you shed your armor and embrace that vulnerability and put it into your music and keep these messages of love, loss, and a sense of community?
Oh, that's a good question. I just always try to write from the heart. Try to do something honest. I sort of have this thing in my brain that tells me to sort of dig deeper. I have always sort of seen music as this like way that I connect with people better than any other medium, and sort of more people and sort of more clearly. So I'm always, when it comes to writing, I want to ask big questions, put myself out there in a way where it's really specific. And I sort of ask myself this question. I'm also asking if anybody else has ever felt the same thing. Because um, I think just being human inherently can be such a lonely experience, such a lonely enterprise. It's so hard to feel like you're meant to be here, and you're in on the joke, and you're um confident in this whole enterprise. So as a kid, I would write these songs from that sort of perspective, and I think really early on I got that message via showing people my music, that they understood me um better, and maybe I can understand them better. It's almost like this really primal thing where it's just the best tool I have to connect um with others and sort of practice self-expression.
Do you feel that that approach really helps when we're looking at a universal appeal, talking about your personal experiences with your songwriting, staying true to yourself, and just opening up?
I certainly didn't hang my hat on thinking what I was doing was universal at all. I thought it was hyper specific. I remember when I started writing sort of biographically, because I was reading Vonnegut, and for the first time, and I had this moment where I was like, "Whoa, what if Vonnegut had tried to write like somebody else, and
Mhm.
then we missed out on this um, brilliant literary voice?" I think I have to risk the same thing. I think I have to really dig deep and find out what's specific about my writing style, and try less to imitate, and really go through this kind of humiliating, confusing um, process of writing about my real life, and risking that vulnerability of like um people probably aren't going to care about this because it's my life, and it's insignificant, and it's, it's growing up in the suburbs, and it's there's no there's nothing juicy about it to me. But the sort of amazing paradox in, I think, all art is the more specific you get, for some reason, the more people um it touches. It's this strange thing. So I just went out with the intention of I have to tell uh my story, and and if people relate to it, that's a bonus. But at the time when I was sort of starting to write more and more personally, it was sort of for my sake.
And when we look at your album, I Am Not Myself, and we look at the success of these first songs that are out there, what does it mean to you to see them resonate with listeners on such a massive scale?
It's surreal, and obviously insanely flattering, and really, really exciting to sort of um, find success in any sort of typical way. I really didn't see this coming. I'm like a really ambitious person. So and I think I work hard. So it's what, it's what I was gunning towards. But um, when I was a kid and stuff, I just wanted to be making music that was sort of cool to the other local bands, and
Mm.
that never really happened. But through that process, that we found sort of our own um, path, and moved way past that. I really don't know what it is that
And and what's your
make.
hope from this album, I Am Not Myself? What do you hope listeners are going to take away when they hear these 12 songs?
I distilled it the other day to sort of this idea of I can pinpoint and express my shame. Maybe people will sort of be easy on themselves about their own.
Hmm.
If I have a whole record about sort of wasn't this, and this trips me out, um and I did this and I'm not proud of it, and I'm this way and I'm that way, and I'm working on it, and is this, is this a universal feeling, or is this me being selfish? I think all those questions, um I'm just in a really fortunate position where people actually sort of listen to what I have to say, and I don't really know why, but while it's happening, I sort of want to do something good with it. And my moral compass has always been sort of more important to me than success in entertainment. So, yeah, what I hope people get from it, relief and belonging.
Okay. Now, when we talk about you as an entertainer and being there, you're an incredible singer-songwriter, very accomplished in the band of Hotel Mira, but you've also acted as well. How do you see these two creative outlets intersecting in your work, or do they at all?
I think they're the same thing. I mean, it's all just storytelling. I love acting because it's sort of the inverse of what I do with Hotel Mira, right? Like, um, Hotel Mira, the songs are written by me. A great deal of the aesthetic things that I want to try, the strategy of how the band sort of operates with other musicians and publications, and trying to find a word that's I'm trying to find a way to say it that's not like really um egotistical, but I'm the driving force and the brainchild of this, or the driving force and maybe the maestro of this thing, right? Like it like auteur, writer, whatever sort of, I'm coming up with all of it and dictating it, and dealing with all the pressure of if it messes up. And I'm sort of this leader, or sort of boss in making things for Hotel Mira. And then on the other side of that coin is like, if I get an acting gig, well, the words are written for me, the character's already in place. I get to go up to a director and we get to sort of collaborate on what the vision is, but ultimately I get to do this amazing thing where I put all my trust in someone and almost be told what to do. Where a lot of my creative life is the opposite.
It's kind of like
So I
taking a
love,
break.
yeah, in a way, I love the way they sort of work in tandem, and I've always pretty much a couple years ago I started thinking of live Hotel Mira shows as similar to doing a play, and my script every night is all the lyrics, and my sort of scene partner is the audience. So I'm going through this thing where, you know, I'm romantic with this audience. I'm playing off this audience. I'm talking to this audience, like specific people, and then, you know, sort of grand soliloquies. But they feed each other. I think it's all just storytelling, and I write. I've written plays and screenplays as well, and I think that's just what I've been interested in since I was a kid, is just sort of making stuff and being creative. And for uh the time I've been making things, nobody really cared or paid attention, but I was still really into it. There's this sort of surreal experience of you know, of people caring.
And what type of advice can you share with us and other artists who might be struggling with issues of identity and vulnerability and that whole creative expression piece?
I think it's really, really rich. I think it's beautiful to sort of carve a new path, and I think often the most exciting things and the most refreshing things and the most beautiful things are things that we haven't seen before, or never considered that angle, or never considered uh you know, this type of person would be um doing something, you know, unexpected. So my advice to people is really simple. You know, work really hard, um and make sure everything you do sort of um comes from the heart. And I think identity is really, really, really tricky. I'm still figuring it out. Um
No,
I don't know
that's fair.
the most the most exciting, refreshing stuff is the stuff that no one's seen before. So um usually when you have to um forge your own path because you've been marginalized in one way or another, you know, you'll be rejected from cookie cutter thing that you might think is the thing you want, but then sort of through that adversity, usually something uh, gets made that's actually more significant, or um, powerful and beautiful for the world to see.
No, that's well said. And Charlie, where can people learn more about you and Hotel Mira?
On social media, um, at Hotel Mira for TikTok, at Hotel Mira Music for Instagram. Come see a show. We're gonna do these 8 gigs left on our Canadian tour with Fake Shark, and then we're gonna go to New York for a new Colossus Festival, and then South by Southwest in Austin. Um, I think coming to see a show is maybe the best way to learn about Hotel Mira.
And with your new album, I Am Not Myself, is there a favorite song of yours that's on there?
Fond of Dancing with the Moonlight these days. Earlier you asked sort of what inspired that one or what the idea was, and I sort of trailed off, but it was the last song that was written for the record. Um, and it was really inspired by really bad anxiety I was sort of having to do with um, being an entertainer and moving to LA, and sort of the horror stories that I'd um, heard. So I almost put all these, all my fears um, of and sort of complications and viewpoints of being an entertainer uh, into this one song. It opens really strong, um, like lines like a private life that I would trade for blinding lights and an early grave. Like there's this sort of um, insanity and brokenness that is like inherently tied to sort of parts of being an entertainer, and there's a unhealthy ego aspect to it, and there's a healthy ego aspect to it, and I think the song is sort of exploring a lot of just different angles of yeah, what it sort of means to give up a lot to try this thing with a very, very low success rate, um, and why, um, and sort of the aspects about it that are noble, and then the aspects about it that are completely self-serving, and sort of the um, effects it has on the psyche to sort of become an idea in some cases, and become sort of a fictional character in some ways, um to build up a persona, or um to have people speculate on your life, or to have fame, have things like uh, getting a haircut make people feel betrayed. Like it's insane. So Dancing with the Moonlight sort of sums up a lot of sort of fears and anxieties and realities and peculiarities to do with being in entertainment.
And well, we're looking at entertainment. If we took a step away from entertainment and said, Charlie, what's something that scares you? What would you say?
Seeing people really trending back towards a status quo, and yeah, I mean, just a lack of compassion being celebrated in terms of marginalized people in this world. People sort of um, not only being um, um, ignorant, but then sort of being uh, praised for it. That really freaks me out. And there's tons of anti uh, LGBTQ bills getting passed in the world, and there's plenty of people trending back towards this kind of barbaric uh far from compassionate outlook, and then being praised for it. That really scares me.
And Charlie, if someone asked you what's something people tend to misunderstand about you the most, what would you say?
It just how much joy I get just sort of diving into the things I like, and how much me and the band spend time, trying to make each other laugh, and sort of having this very, very fortunate, privileged experience. And so I guess what's misunderstood, I think, is not I don't think I'm quite as dark and self-serious maybe as the music is. I think I sort of get a lot of those impulses out by writing.
Nice. And Charlie, I have time for one last question for you here with Coffee with Chris. I really appreciate your time today. It's
Oh yeah,
what makes
this
Charlie
song,
smile?
simple simple stuff, yeah, the people I love. Yeah, seeing the people I love succeed, and enjoy themselves. And
Amazing. Well, as I said, it was my last question for you on Coffee with Chris. I really appreciate you being here. Everyone, check out Hotel Mira when you get a chance. They are on their Canadian tour, or their some area for I Am Not Myself. Head over to YouTube, check out the Facebook page, the TikToks, the Instagram. Get to Google, look up Charlie Kerr, look up Hotel Mira. You're gonna love their songs. You're gonna love their music, and get tickets to their show as quickly as you can. Remember out there to smile to inspire everybody, and have a fantastic day. Again, our wonderful guest, Charlie Kerr from Hotel Mira. Thank you so much.
thank you. Have a good
We are recording. Cool. Here we go. Ladies and